More than 300 campaign ads for President Trump have been taken down from YouTube and Google this year. That's according to a 60 Minutes investigation. Most of the ads were removed from these platforms over the summer for violating company policy. In this 60 Minutes Overtime segment, Leslie Stahl spoke to YouTube's CEO about the company's ad policy.
As you know, conservatives think that you discriminate against them. How do you answer that?
Well, first of all, there are lots of very successful conservatives creators on YouTube. Our systems, our algorithms, they don't have any concept of understanding, what's a Democrat, what's a Republican. And we do hear this criticism from all sides. We also have people who come from more liberal backgrounds who complain about discrimination. And so I think that no matter who you are, we are trying to enforce our policies in a consistent way for everybody.
Ian Scher joins me now. He is an editor-at-large for CNET. All right, Ian, what do you make of the CEO's response on how the company polices its content? Is it possible for it to avoid bias?
A lot of the conservative commentators would say, no, it's impossible to avoid bias. And that's part of the issue that is existing here, is that there's a larger debate going on about how conservative speech is handled online and whether or not any of these social networks are handling it well. When the logic, a lot of times, the debate becomes, well, a lot of these companies are based in Silicon Valley, and California is a historically very liberal area, especially San Francisco. And so they can't ignore their biases, and that's a problem. So, yeah.
Well, Facebook, of course, got a lot of attention and criticism recently for choosing not to take down political ads with false information. How does YouTube deal with this issue?
So YouTube, generally, what they're trying to do is they say, look, you can't micro-target your ads. So you can't decide, I want to focus my ad on people with specific political affiliations. I can't try to retarget at them. So if I know they came to my campaign website and I have their email, I could then send another ad to them, stuff like that. But they don't ban them outright, which is something that Twitter attempted to kind of talk about at one point. They also try to limit micro-targeting generally. Facebook is the one that seems to have the most open policy. They basically allow politicians to say whatever they want. Although, again, supposedly they're trying to keep micro-targeting down because they say that that kind of swings potentially the way that an ad could be impacted and seen.
Okay, I have to acknowledge there was a cat, yes, right next to you. Okay,
she likes to come out every once in a while.
Okay. All right, yes, viewers, you did in fact see a cat. All right, moving on now, Ian. All right, so 60 Minutes took a look at this and found over 300 video ads for President Trump were taken down, but Google was not able to explain what kind of company policy exactly they violated. So why is this concerning?
Part of the problem here is that the companies say, look, if we gave you the name of the policy and what the rules are that they broke, then we're showing them where the line is. And one of the things conservative commentators like to do on YouTube in particular, and commentators in general, right, not just conservatives, is they like to walk up to that line, right? That's part of their shtick. And so by giving them where that line is, the companies say that that gives them a way to walk right up to it, but not tiptoe over, and it helps them to basically be as edgy as possible. So they say, as a matter of course, they will not share where this line is and what the rules are. But as a result, you and I and any journalist trying to figure out what the heck is going on are left in the dark. And we say, okay, well, this ad was pulled down for policy reasons, but we'll never find out what those reasons were.
Well, let's talk about Facebook. So Facebook CEO and co-founder Mark Zuckerberg is doubling down on his company's decision to not take down political ads that contain false information. How is Facebook's policy different than YouTube and Google?
So Facebook essentially seems to be the most open one. And I have to start this by saying all of them are a little opaque in how they're handling this. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of wishy-washy language for a reason. But when it comes to Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg has essentially made the argument that all of this information should be offered out there, that politicians should be able to say whatever they want. On CBS This Morning with Gayle King, an interview with Mark Zuckerberg, he made the point about how taking down this information leaves people without being able to see what their politicians are saying. And to him, it's important for us to know what they're saying more so than police what they say. And he doesn't want to be the arbiter of truth, which honestly, a lot of us would probably be uncomfortable with that. But at the same time, a lot of people don't like it when politicians lie in ads either. So how do you figure this out? It's very tough.
It is tough. Well, is there any social media platform that is doing a better job when it comes to tackling misinformation than other platforms right now?
I think that generally speaking, almost everyone would agree that they are all failing on some level in a pretty bad way. If a lot of the stories that you might have been seeing, we've written on CNET that there's concerns that the 2016 election and everything that happened with the false news that was spreading around is just going to repeat itself this year and next year. And it's really unclear what these companies have done in a meaningful way to change. They talk about what some of these initiatives they have, and they give us very unclear data about how successful they are, but it's really hard to tell. And I think we're only going to really know after the election in November next year whether or not they were successful.
All right, Ian Scher, editor-at-large for CNET and cat owner. Ian, who knew? All right, Ian, thank you so much.
Thank you.